It was interesting to hear Neil's voice again, and it reminds me that he was one of those people that really brought us all together, I think, and that was so easily seen in the magazines. When I look back to that time around when Neil's paper came out, and we were doing so many amazing things with the magazine. We were really on the cutting edge, and half the people that I know in this room I met because I would be on the phone with Neil and he'd say, oh, you should talk to this person. And, you know, invariably you'd hang up and 10 minutes later that person would call you. Hi, Neil just called me and gave me your number and said you're doing an article on this. So he had a lot to do with shaping our publication over the years, and I think we really have to give him a lot of credit for that. Everybody talks about what a great teacher he was. I was never a student of his per se, but he was certainly my mentor and taught me an awful lot about seeing what's real in audio and you know, overlooking some of the hype. If you've ever been an editor, you know you have things coming at you from all ends, from the engineers, but also from the salesmen. And Neil was really the voice of reason in between that all and really made you think about what you were writing and who you were talking to and pushing us to get the best people to cover the stories that we wanted to cover at the time. I'm just going to close with a little personal memory that I have of Neil. Quite a few years ago, my husband was building a ramp in Neil's basement just to give him access to get into his car and that. And at the time, Neil was working with modulation sciences, and he was interested in the spider vision that Phil Giddings was mentioning. So we had traveled to Neil's. It was probably a day where we were downtown at the kids with our daughter, and we lived up in the Pefferlaw area. So Neil's place would sort of be the stop halfway home. And we'd have a great meal and listen to music and, you know, Neil telling stories as always. This particular night, it was, you know, one of those days when our daughter was just about done. Playing with Sneakers the cat had kind of, you know, soured out by that time. And Neil was really interested in showing us spider vision, so he had the TV on, and I think it was probably NASCAR, if anyone knows Neil. And my daughter was adamant that she wanted to watch cartoons. So Neil flipped around, and by golly, doesn't he find a station that's compliant, that's got children's programming going on. So we actually had a little Spider Vision showcase, and there was some show that was similar to Barney going on in the background, you know, with people dressed up in strange costumes and kids running around. And it was interesting because he was even, so he was talking so much to everybody that he could even talk about audio with a 6-year-old. And he would show her what was going on in the screen and, you know, switch the system and notice that she could actually hear it audibly. So I think we can learn a lot from him. He was really observant, and he listened to everybody. No matter who you were, no matter what your background was, he had time for everybody, and he remembered you, and we remember him. Thanks a lot, Neil.